demo, we'll discuss the challenges of effective risk scoring of security threats and AppSOC's next-generation prioritization tools driven by our unique contextual risk engine, or CORE. We all know we need to prioritize, but for security analysts, this isn't always easy. There are far too many vulnerabilities and threats for humans to follow up on, and you simply can't patch everything. So how can you intelligently prioritize vulnerabilities with this tsunami of data? There are many products that can detect vulnerabilities, threats, misconfigurations, and other problems, and they usually add some level of prioritization. But when you put together the dozens of tools that many organizations use, there's far too much noise and far too many red alert issues to manage. The AppSOC platform uses advanced technology to solve these nagging problems, aggregating risk scoring from multiple sources, incorporating business context, reducing noise, and effectively prioritizing the most critical vulnerabilities that need immediate attention. Of these, the most challenging important element is prioritizing. The conventional way to prioritize vulnerabilities is to use the NIST CVE scores found in the National Vulnerability Database, or NVD. These scores highlight the relative severity of known vulnerabilities, but taken alone there is an overwhelming number to manage, with thousands of potentially severe threats. AppSOC goes beyond these traditional CVSS scores that many security tools rely upon. While this is a good starting point, we also incorporate other factors that greatly sharpen our focus, like exploitability and business context. So let's dig deeper into how we make these prioritization decisions and calculate your real risk. A foundational formula is risk equals impact times likelihood. And we mentioned before, CVS scores only consider severity. That's only one aspect of the overall impact. You also need to consider asset criticality. How important is this application to the organization? Is this critical for business operations or something less sensitive? Data classification. Does this app process personal information or IP? Network exposure. Is this internet-facing production code or something used internally or for testing? Now that we have a more complete view of impact, we need to consider likelihood. Again, CVSS scores don't tell us this, but we incorporate multiple other sources, such as EPSS. This is the Exploit Prediction Scoring System developed by First.org. This incorporates both threat intelligence data from the wild, as well as exploitability ratings. We also look at the CISA-KEV, or the known exploited vulnerabilities. These don't just pose a theoretical risk, they have been actively exploited in the field. We also incorporate red flag sources of threat intelligence and risk quantification, such as OWASP and SANS and others. By considering all of these factors, we can pare down an unmanageable list of thousands of potential vulnerabilities and show how the handful of highly critical ones that trigger all these factors, and make sure you zero in on these first. If you do the math, it's frankly impossible to keep up if you chase everything. Estimates show that for a security analyst to investigate a vulnerability properly, to deduplicate it, research, and assess the impact can take at least 30 minutes. So if you receive 300 vulnerability alerts per day across all of your tools, you will need a team of almost 20 full-time analysts just to do the basic work. But if you can prioritize this properly and turn that list into fewer than 20 critical vulnerabilities, 2 people could keep up with them, while others, if available, could go further down the list or focus on other priorities. Now let's look at a specific example, a fintech application. The raw data gives us almost 700 vulnerabilities. Now the scanners have prioritized that down to about 300, but our team of 4 analysts can't look at all of those. AppSOC scoring brings that down to fewer than 50. Now if we look at the heat map, there are 21 key vulnerabilities that combine impact, including my business context, as well as being exploitable. So now my team can stay on top of these, dig deeper into other edge cases, and then use AppSOC's automated remediation workflows to file tickets, eliminate recurring false positives, and much more, all part of other demos. Another area where AppSOC takes a more advanced approach is in our flexible data model, which understands how applications are built and enables us to better quantify and prioritize vulnerabilities. We use a hierarchical model that helps you put all the findings in the right context and map them to other findings. Here we start with individual findings, typically delivered by vulnerability scanners. Then we build up the stack to shared libraries, which may be used in many places. Then there are microservices, the building blocks of applications. Then there are the applications themselves, as well as the hosts and even the business units. Our knowledge of the application hierarchy has a direct impact on how we aggregate and score risk. For example, a vulnerability in a commonly used library like log4j might show up in hundreds of places across your application stack. Our core engine tracks these common and unique vulnerabilities across the stack and aggregates them with a logarithmic scale that compresses the data spikes, while still clearly illuminating the bigger picture. The result is clarity and flexibility. Here you can see we have an aggregated risk score of 650, but we can quickly drill down to the microservices and libraries are most at risk, or we can roll up the data to the top and see which business units have been affected. Of course, there is much more we'd like to show you about the AppSOC platform, and we encourage you to watch more of these demo videos or schedule a live demo with our experts. There we can discuss your specific needs and show how the AppSOC platform can save you time and money while improving your organization's overall security posture. Thanks again for your time and your interest in AppSOC.